Alrighty guys, I'm trying a brand new lake today. I have never been out here. And I'm gonna kind of show you how I break down a new lake. And hopefully we catch some bass, no guarantees. It's pretty breezy today too, so sorry about the wind noise if it's pretty bad, but I just dropped into the lake and right away my initial thoughts is this lake seems kind of shallow and kind of dirty. But it does look like there's some structure. Looks like there's some nice main lake points, stuff like that. I think I'm just gonna kind of use my hummingbirds and mega image to the right and left over a couple of these main lake points. If I find any rock structures sticking out, I'll probably start there, but other than that, I might rip around, see if there's some good looking weeds. I'm probably just gonna spend a lot of time behind the graphs. I don't even have one rod on the deck, you can see that, because I kind of want to scan this lake a little bit. And then once I got an idea of kind of how it lays out, then I'll pull some rods out and maybe make a decision on what I'm gonna throw. But right out the gate, there's like one really big point on the map, and it's right up there. I'm just gonna scan by it and see what it looks like. So I don't know quite well you can see that, but it almost looks like maybe a couple patches of weeds out by this point. It's shallow, it's only 9.5 feet. And if you guys have never seen side imaging before, or mega imaging, here's my boat, and this is what I'm seeing 80 feet to my right, and this is what I'm seeing 80 feet to my left. I actually kind of want to mark these patches of weeds right here. Scroll over, lay a mark, lay a mark. All right, we'll keep going. It's like some more scattered weeds off to the left. Doesn't look amazing by any means. I'll pull up my normal sonar and my down imaging. The bottom does look hard. Maybe there's a little bit of gravel down there, but it doesn't look amazing yet. I'm not seeing any fish. You don't always have to see fish to throw at them though, but it kind of doesn't look like there's big boulders or that defined of a weed edge. So I might do another pass. I'll show you on the map here. There's just kind of this point here. I'll let it load. There's kind of this point, I went across it. I might do a little loop on the inside and come out like that, and then I'll feel like I actually graphed around this point. And if it doesn't look good at all, then I'm gonna run down the lake, probably to the next one. Keep looking. Okay, this point is starting to look a little bit better. There's more of like kind of a defined weed edge, and this is really hard bottom. A lot of times bottom composition is everything. If you can find hard bottom next to like a semi-defined weed edge, that can be really good. So I'm actually gonna mark this out really quick. Oh. Just throw a mark like here, here, right where that kind of weed edge dies, where it's kind of starting to get scattered. This looks like a really hard patch. This looks odd in here. I can always come back and pick it apart later with the electronics, but what I'm trying to do is just kind of get a sample of what's happening and see what looks good. This is looking better. Okay. These might be some actual rocks here. So you can kind of see where I went over and where I laid marks. I'm going to double back and scan the outside, kind of the far tip of the point. I kind of liked what that looked like. Like, it didn't look amazing, but it was some nice hard bottom and an actual weed line. In the spring, bass are moving from where they wintered to kind of first big points on the lake. Then after that, they go up really shallow and feed very hard. Then after that, they spawn. And then when they're done spawning, they slowly kind of work their way out. If there's good shallow cover, they might stick around there the rest of the year. If there's good weeds in the mid-depth range, they might go out to the good weeds, and then during the dog days of summer when those weeds start to die, they'll slowly make their way out either on the weed edge or to kind of some main lake rock humps or rock points. So since it's kind of late summer, the dog days of summer, there should be bass out deep, even though this lake sets up fairly shallow. And when I was just kind of driving around here, I could see that the weeds looked pretty gross. They looked like they were dying and kind of, oh my God, there we go. See that right there? That looks like a little rock spine. A couple rocks here and it slowly goes off. I'm gonna mark those up. That's kind of like what we're looking for. That's something fish would hold directly to. That kind of looks like a bass right there. Kind of looks like a fish in there. Some nice rocks. Just a tiny little spine. It's not very big, but it doesn't have to be that big to hold a few bass. And you see this right here? Right next to kind of this rock spine that looks like there's two big patches of weeds. I don't know if they're good weeds or not, but if they are good weeds hanging out kind of on the tip of this point, bass will freaking load on that. So I'm just gonna mark it. We're gonna kind of continue farther and farther out, and then I'll probably turn back around and scan on top of that and see if I can pick it apart a little more. All right, I'm kind of coming out to the tip of this point here, and it's still really shallow, and it doesn't look good at all. So I think I'm just gonna hop down 50 yards to where I can see the next main link point on the map, scan that out, and if that looks good, we'll lay some marks. If not, just keep on moving and grooving. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of scanning down this weed line. For mapping today, I'm using Lake Master, the Minnesota Lake Master chip. It's got 1 foot contours, it's really nice. And what I did is I kind of placed my depth range at 10 feet. So all this red is 10 feet or less. Just when I kind of looked at this lake map, I could see that most of the lake started to break right at 10 feet. So that really highlights a range that I should just kind of stick to. And I can slowly just kind of side scan around. You can kind of see this here, there's a defined weed edge and it's really hard. I don't know what this is out here, just a big patch of nice weeds, but I'm actually gonna lay a mark on that. All this is probably fair game to fish, just because of how hard the bottom is and how kind of defined that weed edge is. But I'm really gonna keep on graphing and see if I can find some nuances, see if I can find a little bit of rock rubble that meets up with this hard weed edge, just kind of more or less not finding a good area, but finding the spot on the spot. That's what I'm looking for. Oh gosh, oh gosh. All right, I'm kind of checking this little reef out here and look at what I found. A glorious, glorious, glorious rock pile out here. All right, I'm gonna slow down here for a second and mark the outsides of this. Mark, mark, mark. Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. And it looks like there's freaking fish all over it too. I'll look at my down imaging here. You can kind of see some bait off the bottom, some fish off the bottom. Oh my gosh, we're gonna smash them here. Okay, so I've really only graphed out like 3 or 4 spots that I think look good on the map, and this last one, I can't stand it anymore. It was a bunch of clean rocks that kind of came out on this point. I could see it on Mega Imaging, and it's like, clean rocks excite me a bunch, especially when it looked like there was some bait and fish on top of it. So I'm gonna rig up like 3 or 4 rods, probably a crankbait because it's windy today. Probably a football head jig because the rocks are really clean, probably a jig worm and a drop shot. So I got some finesse baits to drag over there, and then I got a deep crankbait that I can rip over top of that and kind of cover water. If I start cracking them on the crankbait, I'll crack them as long as I can, and then where I kind of catch fish on the crankbait after covering water, I'll lay marks there and slow down and then maybe really finesse fish it out, see if I can get some bigger bites that way. But no guarantees we catch anything, but this looks really good. Like really, 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 really good. So I'm gonna get rigged up and then we'll go. So most of the structure out there is between like 12 and 9 feet. So I think I'm gonna start with a DT14. I love this color for dirty water. I actually like it for clean water too. This is kind of my go-to crankbait color right here. I think it's called Parrot. It's a Rapala DT14, made of beautiful balsa wood. And yeah, I'll probably try this, and then I might actually rig up a DT10 too when I get kind of closer, when it's more in like 8 to 10 feet. But kind of out on the tip of this reef, I'm gonna start with the DT14. All right, haven't even made a cast yet. If we start crushing them, I'll show you kind of what I'm looking at on the 360. But yeah, cast number 1 on that long, big rock point that we just marked. fish on. Pass number 1, drop shot. There we go, fish on the drop shot. Good fish. Good fish. Stay down. Good fish. Oh boy. On the drop shot. Okay. Oh, this is a good fish. Freaking big. Get over here. Okay, that's a good start. Fish number 2, gorgeous, probably a little over 3.5 pounder. See you, buddy. Fish on the jig worm. Golly, just even though the wind's blowing, it seems like I just want it sitting there. That ain't a bad one. It's chunky 2-pounder. Fish on the jig worm. God, they want it sitting there. They don't want it moving at all. Another one, all-terrain tackle, mighty head, jig worm head. Black Cinco. See you, buddy. Even though the wind is blowing, I've tried a football head jig. I've tried a DT10, DT14, and usually when it's blowing like this, they'd be more prone to eating moving baits, so like a deep crankbait. But it really seems like if I just throw it out there, take a nice long cast, and right on top of these rocks, even though it's dirty water, they just want it sitting there. We'll see if I can catch one again. I'm literally not even gonna touch the rod. And it's really hard because when the wind's blowing, there's like a big bow in my line. But one thing that helps that is I'm using like high-vis white line. This is Suffix 832. I like using a colored line. That way I can see it bounce. I'm running 10-pound Suffix braid 832 to a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. And when I see that braid bounce, that's when I know someone hit it, if I don't feel it. So I'm just kind of reeling in my slack. Have not moved my bait yet. Haven't moved my bait. All you can do is sample and try a bunch of stuff. It seems like you can throw a crank, throw a hair jig, throw a chatterbait, throw a spinner bait, throw a drop shot. And as soon as you get bit or get bit multiple times, listen to what the fish are saying. Even though it's way more fun cracking fish when you're flipping in the weeds, if they want it really slow and you gotta throw a tiny bait, whether that be a jig worm or a Ned rig or a drop shot, you gotta listen to them. I don't know about your guys' area, but my area gets pressured quite a bit. So I don't know if they're just eating smaller baits because they've seen a lot of big football head jigs down there. I don't know exactly. Huh, no bites. All right, we'll try again. There we go. Not a giant, but chunky. There we go, fish on. Crankbait, color change. try to flip him in here. Ugh. Okay, not bad. Color change, went to more of a black and blue approach. Second cast, DT10. Oh! There we go, fish on, good fish. I don't know if that's the same fish, but I lost a fish. Whoa! Staying down. It's a big boy. It's a big boy. This is a freaking big boy. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, it's a good one. Yeah! Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Choking the drop shot. Uh-oh. Might have found something new. I'm gonna take a few more casts. God, it's a heavy fish, he's fat. I'm gonna take a few more casts. See you, buddy. And then if we keep smoking them here, I'm gonna show you exactly what I just saw and what I'm throwing at on the Humminbird 360. I basically found just there's almost 2 points to this long point, or I guess 2 rock piles on this point. And it seems like I've found in the past, fish will either be on either side of the points. I don't know, for whatever reason, they're not in the middle as much, but I just kind of rolled up to the very tip of this other section of the rock point or rock pile, and I missed one, and then boom. Back to back. I think they're freaking loaded out there. It's another freaking giant. Stay down. Okay, I don't know if he's a giant, but he's heavy. Getting bigger again now that he kind of knows he's... Oh, it's a nice one. Oh, get up here. We found you. Stay down, stay down, stay down. Ah! Get over here. Got him. Back-to-back casts. Oh, can we go 3 for 3? Can we go 3 for 3? Oh. All right, see ya, buddy. I can see that rock pile on my 360, and it's probably only 35 feet in front of me. So with the wind, I'm just launching that drop shot out, letting it sit, and when I'm picking it up, they're hitting it on the fall. Not as big a fish, but that's 3 for 3. Oh, and this is why I love deep fishing. Because you can find them schooled up, and you can just make dang hay. Not a giant. Not a giant. Get him right up in here. Stout, fat fish though. He's going right back. Can we go 4 for 4? There we go. God dang it, they are schooled out there. This is a good fish. Oh, the sucker feels heavy. Oh!
Keep them pinned, stay down. Another one. This is why mega imaging is the frickin' bee's knees. I'll put them right back. You can go to a brand new lake that you think has potential. You can graph it out, lay a couple points, fish around, get on your points that you already laid, that you know are high percentage areas that you found in your mega imaging. Make some casts, find a school, boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. I think that was 4 for 5 or 5 for 6, I don't know. But they're freaking loaded right in front of me. That's fun. Oh my gosh. Offshore fishing is freaking sick. Unreal. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna cast anymore. I think I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at on the Mega 360. And then I might actually leave. I might graph around a little more, and then I might bring the girlfriend out here tomorrow, because this is too much fun to enjoy by yourself, honestly. So yeah, I'll bring you guys up front, show you what I'm looking at, and then we'll kind of move on from there. Okay, I know it's windy, so just bear with me. First and foremost, the biggest asset about getting on a school fish and staying on them is Minn Kota Ultrex's spot lock right here. It's got a little anchor button, and that's exactly what it is. It just anchors you and holds you right in the same spot. So what I kind of did is I positioned myself into the wind. You can see the wind's blowing down this way. I spot locked myself here, that way I'm not moving. Now, I have 2 Helix 10s up front. You do not need 2 graphs to successfully fish with Mega 360. So I'm spot locked right here, and I'm casting at these waypoints. This is just kind of the tip of that rock bar here. Usually waypoints would be on your Mega 360, but I turn them off so you guys get a little bit better view. But the boat is right here, and you kind of see the tip of this rock pile right here. There's fish scattered all up in here. We're stationary right now, but when I'm cruising a little bit, there's a little bit more detail. But there's a whole bunch of fish that are right here off the edge of this rock pile. So I'm staying here, and I'm literally making like a little bit less than a 45-degree angle cast right in here every time, and I'm just picking them off one by one by one by one by one. So it's all about making a purposeful cast, and that's what I think the biggest asset of Mega 360 is when you roll up to your waypoints and you get a good look about what's in front of you, you understand, okay, a better cast is more to the right, or more to the left, or straight in front of me, or straight 90 degrees to my left. I can also change my views too. This is just looking at the front. The boat's right here. I'm looking at everything right in front of the boat. I can go to menu, go to display, it says front, now it's rear, now it's left of the boat, now it's right of the boat. Front view, left view, right view, and now this is just a full view. Now I can see what's behind me. So depending on what you're fishing for or what you're targeting, maybe you want to see the whole water column around you. I'll move down a little bit and show you some more of it. So I'm just kind of moving down our waypoints that we all marked earlier. I haven't even fished these yet, but I'll kind of cruise right by them, and you guys can get a good look at what I'm seeing up here. Look at that. Boom. That's a nice edge of the rock pile. Actually looks like there's some fish right in there. And this is extremely handy if you're kind of fishing by weed lines or rock points, because you can see where there's gaps in the weeds, you can see where there's isolated patches, you can see where there's just high percentage big boulders sticking out from these rock piles. That's where those dang biggies are gonna sit, and kind of having this right in front of the boat so you can make that cast directly at that rock or that weed patch or that weed edge. This alone right here has brought my catching percentage through the roof. Probably this is the reason why we've been doing so good in the local tournaments is we're fishing the spot on the spot, and we're really making a purposeful cast. I know I'm kind of reiterating myself by saying that, but dead serious. Oh look, there's a big fish underneath the boat. Son of a gun. So that was kind of how I break down a brand new lake. I still have a lot more to do, and I haven't really even tried shallow yet, but that was like 2 hours raw fishing with me, unedited. It's fun to go out and try brand new lakes because expectations are so low, and then when you find something, or maybe you find a school of fish and you start whacking on them and you didn't even know that bass even lived in this lake, it's exciting. So yeah, I'll link everything down below, from my helixes to my 360, my Ultrex, also our setups today, drop shot and jig worm, Dobyns rod, Sam Sobi Special 723, freaking dynamite rod, all-terrain tackle, mighty head jig worm heads, VMC finesse hooks, that's what I drop shot with, and yeah, besides that, all the line today basically on my spinning rods, 10-pound Suffix 832 to 10-pound Suffix fluorocarbon leader. And yeah, that was a really fun 2.5 hours of fishing. I think the rest of the day, I'm just gonna kind of graph around, find some new spots, and then me and the lady are coming out here tomorrow, and it's war. So yeah, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed the unedited raw version of just a few hours of fishing together. I might do some more of these. I really only scratched the surface today on how I kind of use my electronics. I'd like to do a lot more of these and just kind of do more raw me out fishing. I spend a lot of time in the water, and there's so many awesome days that I have that I was like, you know what, I should have just filmed. Even if I didn't try to make a movie out of it, I should have just kind of raw, unedited, filmed what went down and what I learned. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of the week, and I hope the wind wasn't too bad out here today. It's freaking ripping today, so I apologize if there's a lot of wind noise, but yeah, I guess there's nothing left to be said than stay tuned, and as always, let the adventure begin. Safe.
Move ahead, oh my pretty babe, something ain't right, got to find a way to move ahead, oh my pretty babe.